Outerworld. This is for Outerworld. This is for Outerworld 2.
Okay. It's gonna be like available now. It's like, oh,
Oh my god. I gotta hold on. Let me come.
Black Ops 7, dude.
Oh, we gotta lock in for this Outerworlds. Hold on.
Welcome to Obsidian Entertainment. We here at the studio have joked around that this has been the year of Obsidian, with Avowed releasing early this year.
I don't want
and
any
now ending
spoils
with
for
2 more
this.
games. And what better way to cap this incredible year for us than by doing what our studio does best: sequels.
That's where I come in. You can get out of here, Fergus. Thank you so much. No, you're doing great. You nailed it. The sequel is the lifeblood of every great franchise. Think about it. The original creates the world and builds fandom, but the sequel,
I just
that's
sold
what makes
something
it worth remembering. No sequel, no hoverboard. No sequel,
On
no
Steam.
dual SMGs. No sequel, no Raccoon Tail.
Nice.
No sequel, no Zune 2. Which doesn't
It's
really
only
exist.
15
I wish it
bucks.
had.
There was a Doom 2.
Nice.
There was a
TS
Zune
gun?
2. I'm Mark, the head of sequels
Yeah.
here at Obsidian, and I have sequelized
Nice,
everything.
dude.
Blockbuster movies to AAA video games to my first marriage, so trust me, I know what I'm doing. Come along this journey with me.
His first.
Part 2.
Let the killing commence.
Yeah, it was so hard to play.
The Outerworlds 2 is a sequel to The Outerworlds 1. It's a continuation of the themes of robber barons in space.
Fuck is
and
that game
how
called?
people are controlled by the stories they're told by the people who have power over
Avowed.
them. This time we're
Star-
able to go a
Starfield.
lot deeper because we have more time. and
It's
money.
so hard to play
And
Starfield
we're
when
able to make
Outerworlds
much
1
more
is a
true
thing.
Obsidian
Yeah, this
reactive
game's
RPG
insane.
than we were the first time around. So we're going deeper and more complex with everything for this sequel. Deeper story, lore, RPG interactions, reactivity, all the things we've been known for as a company. It's really a complete realization of everything people want from an Obsidian game. Surprisingly,
When they
this
say
is the first time in over
reactivity-
25 years that I've had the chance to do a full sequel for a world that I helped co-create. It's really just a fantastic opportunity to explore and expand the universe in interesting ways, and to go even further with the themes of how people are affected by living in a dystopian corporate reality.
You can shoot your way through it, you can talk your way through it, you can sneak your way through it. And so no matter what kind of playstyle that you like, this is just an awesome franchise and an awesome game to jump into, even if it's your first one.
The first Outerworlds was a great base to start from, as it has all the elements of a great
Sure.
Obsidian RPG. Interesting characters, deep worlds, important
If
choices.
you fall off a high
In
point,
Outerworlds 2,
your
not
guy
only
will
did we wanna
become
double
scared of
down on
heights.
those elements, but we wanted to
Yeah.
make the players
like
even
shit
more
like that, like
We've
things
also
that
done
happen
some
in the
different
game,
skills
things that happen
systems
in the
that
game,
impact things
debuff
like
or
conversations
buff
and
your
areas
character.
that we call RPG interactions, which are the part of the world where players can use their specific skills, perks, and backgrounds.
Yeah, this
to
is
solve
my type of
problems
game,
in
dude.
unique ways in our new
It's
user
crazy.
Did you
worlds.
play the first one?
I
dude?
did not play the first one yet, but I will.
Did you get it on what's it called? Epic when it was
I
free?
love a deep RPG experience.
I think
it's on Xbox also.
Yeah, I think it's on Xbox. Let me check.
We prioritize those deeper RPG options with different character builds and combos so players can express their role-playing power fantasies. We also have different equipment options for different playstyles and different companions with different abilities.
Yeah, Outerworlds is on Game Pass. Let me check.
And it comes with all the DLC, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reactivity, dude, I'm telling you, that's what they're known
In the
for.
first Outerworlds, you start off as the Stranger, which was basically a blank slate to build on top of with various
My
attribute
Epic
points
is
that would
acting
begin
up.
to
There
define
we
your
go.
personal experience in the game. You can make any kind of character you want, but we've given you a role. That role is an Earth Directorate agent. You can think of them as kind of like space cowboys or space sky marshals.
No, I don't have Outerworlds on Epic.
They're the good guys that go into places and kind of fix everything that's wrong. You're gonna be one of those. But we don't tell you why you joined the Earth Directorate. There could have been a lot of different reasons.
Deathloop
right?
is
It
on
could have
Epic right
been
now?
Because you're an actual lawbringer and you want to go in there
Yeah,
and
yeah, we-
spread law
I
throughout the
grabbed-
galaxy. It could be that you're a roustabout and you just had nothing better to do. After you pick your background, one of the really important choices you have next is choosing your traits. While we had attributes in the first Outerworlds, we've leaned into traits for the Outerworlds too, which are these big changes to your character.
Yeah, I really gotta
depending on which ones you
play
pick.
this. I played it, but I didn't like go hard.
So
in
it could be
it.
something
Gotta
like
go harder in
brilliant,
this.
where you can tag extra skills. And you
It's
start
really
getting extra
cool.
skill
If you're like a
points.
Borderlands
And
fan,
that's obviously really great if that's how you want
Yeah,
to build your
Borderlands
character. You
fan.
can also go and do
and
something
it's like
Lucky,
it doesn't
where
keep
you
you
get
there
extra
too
critical
long.
chance,
Like
and you also
you
get a lot of
feel like
really
you have a
cool
great
options throughout the
RPG
game as well.
experience within a nice amount of
Of course, they brought
time.
back dumb,
It doesn't feel like dragged
so players
on, you know?
love the dumb option.
There's no empty content.
Tell me, do you believe in signs?
Every world is unique.
Not quite what I meant, but I like your contempt for boundaries. I could put your adventurous spirit to good use.
And you get like lots of really cool, fun conversation options in the game, but we took that even further. And again, there's lots of elements in the game where you can be dumb and use that for something. Could be something as simple as banging on a machine to get it to work. After you've invested in some of your traits, your next choices are going to be choosing your skills. The skills themselves basically allow you to build on your playstyle and what your character is doing in the game. That will be everything from playing stealthily to speccing for an explosive specialty.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
Throughout your entire journey, your character continues to change with the different choices you make. In the Outerworlds 1, actually had more skills than we have, so we condensed them down to really the core and essence of what we really wanted there. But we made each point that you put into a skill much more impactful. So instead of getting small percentage changes, we actually did much larger changes per point that you put into each skill. And again, all these things, because of how they're checked inside the world itself, can matter quite a bit. You know, just even having one additional skill point in something can open up a lot more options in the world itself. If anybody's played Fallout New Vegas, they'll be very familiar with like the perk system. We basically borrowed that, but went even grander. We actually have more perks than Fallout New Vegas did. But here's the cool thing, right? We check and use perks for literally everything, right? So you can do everything from, hey, I want to make a stealthy build the steal stuff and is really good at that. Okay, great. Well, you can take maybe the pickpocketing perk. So that's not available to everybody, but if you select that, now you can actually go around and steal things out of people's pockets.
Hell yeah.
There's another perk called heavy-handed, right? Where say you're a melee person, what this does is now your power attacks that you use actually knock people down.
Cram!
Oh man, they will drop points, and you can take
Knock
these
the
cards,
shit out of
and
them.
these trophies, you can
Holy
say,
shit.
and it's actually giving you a
That was
permanent
great.
health bonus every time you do it. We have a perk called
Oh, that's
Assassin.
funny.
Now, this
Both
is an
prepared our
early perk,
adjective.
which every time you use stealth attack and enemy, you're actually going to get a movement bonus for a certain amount of time.
I thought he was gonna get hit harder than that, to be honest.
Our ad lib.
Oh shit. Assassin.
They did that on purpose. Stabbed him in the balls.
Flaws were a system that everybody loved from the first game, but we wanted to make it
Flaws.
more personal to the player. We
Yeah,
wanted it to
flaws are
really
funny as
reflect
shit.
how you were playing the game and give you a bonus that you actually wanted to really engage with.
With the flaw system returning, we knew we needed to go bigger, better, and more real than ever before. So, we turned to the team. And I told them, no bad ideas. Give me what you got. Okay, we need more flaws. We need them to be real. I want to put them in the game, so give me something. Inspiration. What's wrong with you?
Oh, bad knees,
You got bad knee. They hurt when you walk a lot?
Yes.
When you walk too much, they hurt?
no cartilage.
Sounds boring.
No
Makes you sound like a boring
cartilage.
person, but it's in the game.
I know it.
It's a good flaw.
I
What about
do
you?
it.
It's a good flaw.
Sometimes
So you're stealing.
no, I'm taking.
When do you give them back?
I don't.
Claire. You shouldn't be stealing. You shouldn't be stealing, Claire.
Tiny crimes.
Tiny crimes? Do you hear the second part, though? It's a crime.
Well,
You're stealing. Claire, that's wrong. You can't steal things, okay? But it's an amazing flaw, and I'm putting it in the game. But you're a bad person. And you want to steal, Claire?
I love this.
Yeah. Give it back,
okay.
please. You, what do we got?
So
Flaw.
good.
I like to stare at the sun.
How long did you stare at the sun?
Just lunch break.
An hour?
You guys good now?
The glasses.
In an hour.
That's
Makes you
relatable.
feel energized.
How many fingers am I hold up?
3.
No. Anything else? We'll
No.
put it in the game. We'll put it in the game because I feel bad for
We'll
you.
put it in
Anything else?
there.
One of my favorite flaws is something called bad knees. It will actually give you the option to take this flaw that'll make it so that you move faster throughout the game. But the problem is, anytime you stand up, your knees are going to make a loud popping noise that makes it hear you.
No, that's like me in real life.
This is really interesting because what it does is
That's
when
so
you steal
good.
something, you can actually sell it for more bits than normal. And, like, that's
I
down
love
to
that.
price.
That's so
The problem is,
funny.
sometimes when you're looking at things in the world that are owned by somebody else, you'll automatically steal them. So you have to be very careful about how you use them.
That's funny as shit. Your character just will steal.
Just randomly steal stuff that don't belong to you.
Game, so everything becomes like light shafts and balloons
No,
and
he is
hazes,
cataracts.
and makes the game
No.
pretty unplayable if you happen to choose that perk.
Oh my
If you happen to be the type
god.
of player that habitually reloads your weapons like I do, well,
Yes.
you'll be offered the flaw of over-prepared. Now, you'll get larger magazine sizes on all of your weapons.
Oh,
but if you
that's not a
ever
flaw.
fully empty your magazine, you're gonna take a debuff for a while.
What do you mean?
While we support options like being a gunslinger who wants to key into destructive weapons,
I can't reload all the
or
time.
a rogue who wants to alpha strike their enemies before they know what hit them, we also allow for a lot of fun and experimental builds. You can be a mad scientist who utilizes gadgets and wacky science weapons and armor.
Oh, so
That's so cool, dude.
Yep.
Or even a psychopath who gains permanent bonuses to health by murdering their friends.
Nothing shows the impact of these
That's
build options better
crazy.
than, in my opinion, the bridge area, which is a quest you get early on in Paradise Island.
Hey Vito, you wanna play with me, dude?
The bridge.
Not only do you kind of encounter this very early, and it's a very core one to the story, but it really expresses our philosophy of allowing the player to solve problems in a bunch of ways. So you may solve it by, you know, speech options. You may talk to them and maybe have to go do a quest for them and really kind of prove that you're a friend of the Protectorate to get by.
I may have need of your help, stranger. If you are ready to seize an opportunity to show
This
fealty to the Protectorate.
is what
You could go
Starfield
guns
should have
blazing,
been.
and you can just take everyone out inside the
That's
POI
what I'm
world.
saying, dude. Like, Outerworlds 1 was better than Starfield.
Yeah, this is what Starfield should have been.
You could sneak in, lower the bridge, and then actually sneak in under the bridge to get over to the other side.
Just don't stand up, your knees might crack.
You can bypass the bridge entirely if you found like certain gadgets, like the shield gadget that
Except
protects
for
you from
smart.
poison gas as you go across. Or
guy's there
the
to
double
stun
jump
to
boots, which
load.
kind of allow you to jump across the chasm and get across that way. There's even a really kind of messed up way, right? Which is players can actually sacrifice one of their companions. The companion who they just found is part of.
We're no different than the Breeze if we start.
They're
tossing our
bleeping
hunter
out
rats.
spoilers.
I'm sure as law ain't gonna follow someone who can't see the wrong in it.
I must admit I'm surprised we could come to an understanding. But I thank you for your loyalty, stranger. As promised, you shall have clearance to cross this bridge.
It's such a fun
Hell yeah.
quest, but again, it really showcases that we want you to be able to solve this in whatever way you want to. When you build your character your way, we're there for you. We really want you to have the experience that you want to have out of this.
Factions? A
From
campaign.
the very beginning of our discussions about the Outer Worlds, we really knew we wanted every game to take place in a different colony. This lets us expand on all aspects of the universe. Every colony can be its own thing with its own flavor, and we can center them around anything we want. Any ideas or setting we're interested in. Arcadia is an isolated colony with abundant resources, and it's run by an authoritarian faction called the Protectorate. Their dictatorship is thematically based around the question of how much freedom people will give up for security and luxury. For Protectorate subjects, unfortunately, that answer is everything. The Protectorate is also incredibly wealthy because it was founded by the inventor of the skip drives, which are the Outer Worlds faster-than-light engines. But those skip drives are starting to cause rifts in space-time, which are cutting off all the other colonies on Earth from being able to trade with each other. The Order of the Ascendant is an offshoot of the Order of Scientific Inquiry from the original game, and like them are a science-based religion with the same goal of solving the universal equation, which will allow them to predict and alter the future to the benefit of all mankind. They used to be part of the Protectorate, but they split off to focus on solving the equation for the good of everyone, not as a way to simply control the masses. The player's been sent to Arcadia as an Earth Directorate agent to find out how the skip drives are causing the rifts and what can be done to stop them. Each of the factions have their own solutions to the rift problem and their own goals. The Protectorate wants to close them to protect their legacy as the inventor of the drives and their wealth. The Order wants to close them not only for the good of everyone, but also because they're complicating the math they're using to solve the universal equation. And Antes just wants to be able to open and close them at will to control all the trade routes between the colonies.
That's it.
In addition to expanding the themes and lore of the Outer Worlds, we're also expanding the humor, so each faction has its own flavor of absurdity. Anti's Choice is a merger between Anti-Cleo and Spacer's Choice from the original game.
Shit.
And they're our corporate representatives
It looks
in
so
the Outer
good.
Worlds too.
It looks
They've
insane.
invaded Arcadia to liberate their resources for
I might
all
actually
humanity
just start playing
at
the
a
other.
profit.
Yeah,
The first
Of
one?
course.
Yeah, I was just
One of my
thinking
favorite
that.
things from Fallout New Vegas is the radio system. It was just
I gotta do
iconic to me,
Cyberpunk,
and I
though.
wanted to make sure that the Outer
Gotta do
Worlds do
Cyberpunk.
have that. So we actually
Smart
built out
RPG
3
right
different
now.
radio stations,
Whoa.
one for each of the major factions.
I'll take that back.
You also have a ton of music. Each station might have like, I think 20 tracks of unique music that we've made for it. It's a lot of stuff. But the really cool part about this entire thing is that we actually put a lot of reactivity into the radio. So it will respond to the things that are going on around the world that you've been interacting with. So if you go into a location, let's say you solve a problem for the Protectorate folks, if you listen to the Protectorate radio station, they're going to be cheering you on as a hero.
Wonderful news, everyone. The Zeranium gas leaks at the Automech repair facility, strongly believed to be caused by Anti's Choice malefactors, have been corrected.
Some hotshot for hire just managed to fix the electrum leak in their repair facility. Now, I'm not saying we caused it in the first place, but we sure like the idea of all those broken automechanicals and all the excessive gasping and choking involved.
The factions and companions are great examples of how we're going deeper and more complex this time around. They integrated into the game's storyline much more than we did on the first Outer Worlds, and like with everything else in the game, they have a lot more reactivity. There are 6 companions in the Outer Worlds too. As usual, each has their own quest lines, but this time they are also connected to a different faction and have character arcs that the player can affect through their choices. Your first companion is Niles. He's another Earth Directorate agent like you, and he's looking for your help to decide whether he wants to become an even better agent or to turn his back on the Earth Directorate completely. There's also a somewhat cute Automech support drone that is basically Niles' helper. Her name is Val. Marisol is part of the Order of the Ascendant, and she's an aging but still deadly assassin. That's right, she's a deadly mathematician who may or may not have some unfinished business to attend to with the player's help. There's also a cultist named Azza who is part of a sub-faction that worships the rifts, and in her case, violence in general. You can choose to either turn her away from overt violence or support her chaotic and dangerous tendencies. At one time, Anti's Choice had a program to graft soldiers with animal parts to make them more formidable. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work and most of them are now dead. There's a combat medic who survived, however, named Inez, and she wants the player to help her fix her graft, among other things. Finally, there's Tristan. He's a protected arbiter who is judge, jury, and executioner all rolled into one heavily armored faction. It is your choice to either help him judge wrongdoers or show him what true justice looks like.
We definitely have reactivity in the game based on how you've been treating your companions. I won't reveal the end of the game, but let's say if you have not been treating them well, you will find out at the end of the game what that means.
Companions are a very, very important part of merchandising, because that's the real beauty of the sequel. We're talking merch, baby. It is the lifeblood. It is what fuels us. Do you want to see some of my ideas? Hop, hop. Check this out.
Oh no!
Alpha loves body pillows, especially ones that look like human beings for some reason, right? Who needs a significant other when you can have a knife-wielding space psycho up in your sheets, huh? What are they doing?
Hell yeah,
huh?
that's so funny.
Maybe a little snuggling, maybe a little.
It's so funny.
The visuals of the first Outer Worlds depicted a frontier colony in space. The Outer Worlds 2 is driven by an invasion of the Arcadia colony system by Anti's Choice, which shifts the visuals to be more reminiscent of a World War I-like setting in space. That evolution is seen across all aspects of the game, starting with the factions. How do you militarize everything, including extreme capitalists or math-crazed scientists? In a World War I setting, war comes with propaganda. The Sovereign uses it to maintain control. Auntie's Choice uses it to help their bottom line. The Order just wants to show how it exists within the grand plan. We want players to feel like Arcadia is a living, breathing place scarred by a long-standing war. Fairfield, one of the first towns you encounter, was once under Protectorate control, but has recently been taken over by Auntie's Choice. They don't just occupy the town, they rebrand it with their signature style, repainting buildings, posting guards, and adding propaganda-based holograms featuring Auntie and the Moon Man. Showing the towns evolving after the invasion helps us push immersion for our players. One of our priorities in visually realizing the world of the Outerworlds 2 was making sure everything is clear and recognizable from the player standpoint. We want to make sure each faction has a particular
Yo, they're really giving us all the information about
players running across these
Outerworlds 2, man.
environments and landscapes. They're recognizing the motifs and visuals of who they're talking to.
I mean, they're giving us everything, bro. Obviously not everything, but like, it's a whole lot.
Was really about player
Everybody's sold already, man.
And while we have that in the Outerworlds 2, we really want to express not just the corporations, but how the player interacts with other facets of the world, like government entities or religious structures. And then we elaborate on those.
With larger environments, we wanted to encourage exploration by improving player mobility across the board. Now you can run, slide, double jump, mantle and parkour your way through all of the nooks and crannies of these worlds. It really allows the player to just explore and have fun finding really cool stuff.
Oh yeah. Weapons and gunplay.
We've aimed to make everything in the Outerworlds 2 better from top to bottom. The RPG elements were the start, but that's touched our story, our art, and especially our gameplay. A good sequel is true to the original. That's first and foremost, right? Like, we all want to add in a bunch of things as you're making a sequel, right? We want to make it bigger and better in every way. That's what we were trying to do here. And I thought, we did not need this consultant. We've made enough sequels. We understand how to do this. And I will say, I don't think it's been entirely successful.
I am very proud of the combat improvements we have made in the Outerworlds 2, thanks to my patented combat system. You may be thinking to yourself, it can't be that good? Shush, what are you even talking about? You haven't seen it yet. Watch this. Put a helmet on, because I'm about to blow all of your minds with my COMBAT system, combat system. My name is Mark, I'm the head of sequels. Shall we begin? You're thinking, what's C for? C, capitalize the fact that the people loved the first game. We're gonna take those people, we're gonna make them buy the sequel, giving out pounds, pounds, pounds. Quick ones, ha, ha, not you, Dan. Here we go. What comes after C? Oh. Optimize for player satisfaction. I am terrified of online gamers, okay? I want to make them happy. So let's, okay? All right.
Let's just make
Mobilize
them
the
happy.
players so they're ready for that sweet, sweet pre-order. Clap with me. Sweet, sweet. You don't have rhythm, Brandon, just say it. Sweet, sweet pre-order. Everybody has a different rhythm, and it's blowing mine. And here we go. B, burglarize. What is this? It's basically just finding new ways to loot dead bodies. You know what I mean? Right, Otis? Okay, well, it's a big part of the game. A, you gotta agonize about how many people are gonna be angry that we have just put so much combat into this thing and almost no romance at all. We should look at ourselves. What is wrong with us? Huh? We can't have one love story in this? How many people have been in love? Raise your hands. Raise your hand if you're in love. Okay, are you lying?
I have a wife.
Put your hand down. T, trois.
You don't love her.
In French, that
Trois.
means two. Sequel.
I think that means 3.
Okay, you're getting ahead of yourself. Come on, Claire. We're on 2. And how do we end it?
Outerworlds 3.
Anything is possible. And we've established that we're the best there is, and there's no sequel better than us. And if I could just say one more thing, thank you very much. I know I've kind of changed the world of video games today.
For the Outerworlds 2, we wanted to improve gunplay in every way. We focused on improving the feel of each weapon, the way a weapon snaps into ADS, the way recoil feels when firing, and how impactful our sound effects really sell the weapon's fantasy, to things like how unique reload animation can add a lot of character to each weapon. We've increased the variety of weapons by including new weapon types, but also through a host of fun and unique weaponry. We have things like the Boar Blaster that fires out tumors that can explode like grenades.
Tumors?
Or
What
can
the
even be
hell?
eaten by the player for additional health.
No! No! That's bad.
Ew.
That will actually level
That's
up
so bad.
throughout the game.
But funny at the
Every
same
time it
time.
levels up, it's got fun fanfare where it's like shooting out confetti and it's got fun little setup. they have a really fun weapon called the pop-up gun. It fires out ad drones that will distract your enemies with corporate ads, slogans, and jingles.
No.
When your enemies are distracted, you can focus fire on them or explode these drones for additional damage.
That's
New
funny.
to the Outerworlds 2 are throwables. So you can use frag grenades to flush out enemies, smoke grenades to camouflage and escape, distraction devices to bait enemies into a stealth attack.
Are there game announcements done? And they're just showing off the game now?
Yeah.
That will levitate enemies, allowing you to
They're just, it's a presentation for Outer Worlds.
And of course, science weapons are back.
Oh, no.
We have returning favorites, like the shrink ray.
It's
This
for the
time it's
video.
been upgraded, so you can shrink your enemy down to the size of a sprat and run over them, exploding them into bits.
That's sick.
That was
Oh my god.
He stepped on him.
Brought it into the second game, but we improved it though. So instead
Yeah,
of
this is a next level game. This is what we want.
Yeah.
And we actually added in the ability to step on them and kind of squish them and kick them because we knew that was the player
They're
fantasy.
just
We knew that's what everyone
adding
wanted to do. They wanted
the
to step on
unthinkable.
enemies. They wanted to kick
Yeah.
them. So we made sure to double down on that stuff.
That's so funny.
That's so
In
good,
addition to
dude.
things like our returning favorites, we also have some really fun and unique new science weapons. One of them is called the Armageddon. This one's really cool because it actually shoots out these masses that are like these little arms that will stick to people or cover all kinds of different things, and they will continue to just hit them until they get destroyed. And we have another one that's just super cool called the Spectrum Dance Saber. This is a melee weapon that actually lets you attack to a musical beat. And if you continue to do that,
That's
you'll
so
actually
cool.
get additional bonuses each hit.
What the heck?
One of my personal favorite weapons is called the Big Bang. This is a big freaking gun that uses material harvested from rifts to shoot out a giant ball of energy, vaporizing everything in its path. Now, ammo's extremely rare for this weapon, but you can use it in just the right situation to devastating effects.
That's so cool.
That's a
Another great
nuke.
one is Gary. If you wear Gary,
Gary?
he will lash out at your opponents.
Oh
as
my
you're walking
god.
through the science armors, and we've really kind of shown
Yo.
off what we thought was really great for the player from a science perspective.
We're all about letting people play the game
That's so
their way.
Gary's
There's some
crazy.
players who prefer to be immersed in a first-person view, taking in all of the details. But there are others who really prefer to take the world in from a third-person perspective.
Oh,
Why
nice.
not allow both? Well, now you can swap between the two, letting
That's
you enjoy the
cool.
experience in whatever way you like.
Oh, so cool. Oh, so
One of the things I
cool.
really like about having the third-person mode is being able to see all of the fun and unique armors and armor combinations and weapons that you can equip your player
That's
with.
so
All of the actions that you could do in first person, so you're double jumping around,
Damn.
to see your character in that way.
Heck yeah.
And you get to take in the world and see things in a different light.
Dude, this game looks done.
It looks so good, dude.
The Outerworlds 2 is really the biggest game we've ever made. Bigger choices, more reactivity, more weapons, more things to find in each of the worlds the players can visit. The team has
Hell
done
yeah, he's like,
incredible
"Good."
work bringing the Outerworlds 2 to life.
Good looking poop.
And we can't wait for you to play it.
Even though we've always been a multi-project
Yeah, they got
studio,
piss
this is
physics.
gonna be the first time we've ever released a great
Yeah.
game at one
Very
time.
important.
It feels
Yeah.
amazing to do. We're so excited for more people to be playing our games. It is truly
Yeah, they put out
exciting times
bangers.
here at Obsidian.
Yeah.
This is
We're
an awesome
exploring worlds
studio.
big and small, while expanding on franchises that
Obsidian
we've
going
created.
hard.
And we have no plans to slow down. We hope you all continue to come along with us as we do what we do best: make your worlds your way.
That's so cool.
Wow. Man. Yeah. They're RPGing, dude. They're saving RPGs. One world at a time.
One world at a time.
With the Outerworlds 2, we're all about the best place to play, which is also
Grounded 2?
the promise of Xbox. You can play the Outerworlds 2 on this Xbox.
Are we
Maybe
doing
not
Grounded
play it
2?
when you're staring at all these beautiful holes. Let's cut that.
I don't
You
know
can
if I
play
could
the
do early
Outerworlds 2 on
access
this
anymore.
No. Like we reacting to
Oh, yeah.
reacting to it.
That's Microsoft. Or you can take a phone call on this Xbox.
Oh,
then
I see
play
what
the
you're saying.
Outerworlds 2 right after.
I don't-
Excuse me, I'm
I
getting a
must
call.
know.
Hello? What am I doing? I'm playing the Outerworlds. Hello? Yeah, this is Mark. I didn't know I had jury duty today. You could play the Outerworlds 2 on this Xbox, but it takes 2 people to lug around safely. We're gonna go up to my apartment, okay? And this is an Xbox you actually wear that also plays the Outerworlds 2. What do you think, Claire?
This is amazing.
Are you playing?
I think so.
Fantastic. So now this is actually not an Xbox, so you cannot play the Outerworlds 2 on it. You can't play anything on it.
You can play Skyrim on that shit though.
You ever play bread where you take it out of one slot, put it in the other? I don't have friends. If you pre-order the premium edition now, you'll get early access, which is like a prequel to the sequel, or is launch the sequel to the pre-order, or like, why are any of us alive at any time? It doesn't matter. Either way, my job here is done. It's time for the Grounded 2 portion of the Direct, which is sort of like the sequel to the Outer Worlds 2 portion of the Direct, which I absolutely just hit a home run with. You know, it's really nice to see my influence go on to other games. Take it away, team. And big exit.
I know they're doing this. I actually didn't know they were doing.
Their world creation was so good on the first one. I just think they had to work so hard to get all the assets and everything.
What started as a small passion project to make a quirky game where you're shrunk down to the size of an ant, trying to survive in a backyard, grew into something way bigger than we ever imagined. Over 25 million of you jumped in, explored, built, crafted, and fought off giant bugs together. Y'all helped make the entire experience very special to us. The team's been cooking up a ton for Grounded 2, and we're so excited to talk about it. And to grease some palms to steal a bit of time from the Direct to give you a deeper look. There's so many possibilities and ideas that didn't make it into the first game, so with the sequel, we have the chance to dream bigger. To achieve those dreams, we partnered with the amazing folks at Eidos Montreal. Together, we're taking Grounded from the backyard to an even larger world, the Brook Hollow Community Park.
When we started working on Grounded 2, we knew that we wanted to make a bigger world. Fortunately for us, Eidos Montreal became our main partner on developing Grounded 2. They have a lot of similarities to the sorts of things that are important to us at Obsidian. They tend to make very narratively strong games. They make games with really deep characters and great character progression. They make games with great gameplay.
Everyone at Eidos Montreal is thrilled and honored to be working with Obsidian Entertainment. Our two studios share a lot of DNA. The same things that are important to Obsidian Entertainment are important to us. Choice and consequences, player communities, and doing justice to great IPs and great franchises. The fact that we're the first partners that they're working with to make a sequel to their franchise feels like we're an important part of their history.
The
Must
events of
pet all the
Grounded
bugs.
2
I
take
was
place
said
2 years
must
after the
pet all
first
the
game.
bugs.
The same 4 teenagers are returning.
So there's Max, Hoops, Willow,
and Pete.
Oh, it's him.
Years older, which
They're all a little
means they've
older.
gone through a bit more high school, a bit more mature. It's 1992.
Oh,
The world's
shit.
a little bit different.
1992.
But we're still in that fun, nostalgic era of
I
the
still
early
wasn't born yet.
1990s. In Grounded 2, we're moving the action out of the backyard and into the Brook Hollow Community Park. Not only is it bigger, it allows us to tell a lot more stories and expand the world of Grounded by exploring what the community of Brook Hollow has been up to and what they've been through.
The park overall is about 3 times the size of the backyard, and our initial starting area is actually the same size as the entire backyard from the first Grounded. The reason we wanted to move into a park wasn't just to create a bigger world, but was to give us the opportunity to explore the community of Brook Hollow and what secrets have they been hiding.
What we love and what we're excited about in terms of the park is the opportunity to create environments and landmarks that are mundane at normal size, but are colossal wonders when you're the size of an ant. Everything from a giant trash can to a community picnic table or a snack bar. All of these areas come to life in a brand new way.
Part of the fun in Grounded 2 is that the park was evacuated really quickly right before our teens were shrunk. And that means that the park has been sort of turned upside down and is in a topsy-turvy state. And that leads to really fun environmental storytelling, but it also leads into the creation of amazing biomes for our characters to explore. One of my favorite examples of this is the ice cream cart. In all
Ice
the
cream cart.
commotion, the ice cream vendor's cart has been knocked over and its contents have spilled out into the ground. And what this means for our young adventurers is that they'll be able to explore this frozen cave of interesting challenges and colorful Lovecraftian horror.
Out of here,
have
Scorpion.
One anthill that's actually somebody decided to bury a bunch of toxic stuff in the park. And so there's all these toxic chemicals underground. The environment looks very cool and very spooky with all of these sort of chemical pools. And of course, nothing can live down there except for one type of insect, the cockroach.
Ew.
We're oftentimes reinventing environments, and in future updates, you're gonna see a ton of new stuff. You do a lot of fighting against insects of all shapes and sizes. We didn't just want it to look better, we also knew we wanted to add a new layer of strategy. The changes that we've made aren't limited to tuning animations or adjusting attack or defense numbers or making characters or insects move faster or slower. But we did all that too, but there's also an entire sort of rock, paper, scissors strategy involving light attacks, heavy attacks, and blocking. We've also added dashing as a new way to both get out of danger quickly or jump in for a quick attack. And almost all the insects in the game will have these abilities now too. Sort of like a chess match, but one that's super frenetic, looks super cool, and is ultimately just a ton of fun. We're leaning into clear play styles for tanky warriors, low defense, high damage rogues, effect-wielding mages, and ranged hunters. In the first Grounded, we have mutations, and there were weapons and armors that favored different playstyles. In Grounded 2, not only will there be passive mutations, but there will also be active mutations. And a lot of those mutations support these archetypes.
My favorite way to play pretty much any game is chasing after those
His shirt is so cool,
builds. And that's why I'm so excited for what we're doing with archetypes in Grounded 2. I'm all in on the rogue. Now, you can even dual wield daggers. I've been dialing in this glass cannon build that stacks ambush, assassin, and cardiofan mutations with the wolfbane daggers and the wolf spider armor. It lets me open up combat with massive backstab damage that also inflicts venom. Then, I can use the extra stamina to reposition and try to dodge, rinse, and repeat.
He one-shotted that
risk,
spider,
high reward, and absolute chaos in all the best way. I'm looking forward to seeing what wild combos the community comes up with and what they inevitably break once they get their hands on the archetype system. It's going to be awesome watching it evolve with player feedback and watching us try to keep up with all of your game-breaking builds.
One of the great
they want to do it slowly.
is the variety of players it attracts, from builders to crafters and everything in between. If you've ever watched me on Casually Grounded livestream, you'd know that I'm neither. I am a murderer of insects. Personally, I prefer the term harvester. I love going out, hitting things, and bringing the materials like insect body parts back to my friends to use. This way, we keep progressing and playing together.
We're also trying to make sure that armor and equipment are easily understood by the player, especially when they're playing co-op with their friends. It was really, really important for us to deliver on all of that for the bigger space.
They just added like so much.
The only way we could truly support the feature the community has been asking for since the very first Grounded release.
Split screen.
Mounts.
No, mounts. Mounts. Oh, shit.
Our mounts, we call them buggies, have an entire suite of moves and have their own special abilities and attacks.
We really wanted the buggies to be an extension of the player in every way possible. And that meant making sure that buggies had unique and valuable abilities across all the core pillars of Grounded. So that doesn't just mean exploration and travel. that has gameplay implications for combat, crafting, and building as well. Just like how we
Stop
wanted to expand
it.
player
That's
play
so
styles throughout the game, we're gonna make sure
Oh,
that every
man.
buggy that we add has its own personality.
Heck yeah.
The Red Ant Soldier can
Yeah,
enlist
all
up
the
to
bugs.
2 Red Ant workers to follow you around and help you out. If you get into combat and you don't want to fight while you're saddled on your buggy, you can jump off and they'll fight right alongside you and provide support.
Bonk.
The Orb
Heck
Weaver
yeah.
buggies are a little less useful when it comes to general utility, like building a base or harvesting, but they're awesome when it comes to combat. Sure,
Oh,
their defenses aren't
yeah.
super strong, but they're heavy hitters. They're also super fast, and they have some great special abilities, like a scream that allows them to stun lesser-powered insects, and the ability to shoot webs and entangle other creatures.
Oh, love
the
this
Orb
game.
Weavers won't be your base building buggy. You should
Yeah,
use the Red Ant
they need to
Soldier for
cook
that.
though. They need to.
But
Yeah,
they're
no, I
super
can't
fun
wait. I
for
can't wait
exploration and
for
combat.
it to be done. I don't want to.
Red Ant Soldiers.
I'm just gonna play
will be available
regular
at
until.
Game Preview launch. There will be others in the future, but those are the 2 we're starting with. The connection that our Grounded community has with us is something we want to keep forging with the sequel as we make an even bigger game than the original.
Pretty much from day one, we knew we wanted to return to game preview for Grounded 2. Sure,
No.
it comes with some
Of course it
trade-offs, like the game's not done.
There's a
and it's out to
face
the
in the
world,
back of his head.
but there's
The
so
fuck?
much value in
They're
building it
explaining it.
alongside the community.
They know game preview is bad, but
Buggies
they wanna
change
do.
how you traverse and navigate the park. What we're doing with Grounded 2 is
I
we're actually
see.
keeping zip lines held back so we can see how players engage with buggies, and then we can tweak zip lines to bring them back over time to really complement that buggy experience and make exploring the park far more fun. That kind of feedback loop helped shape the original Grounded, and we wanted to shape the design for Brook Hollow Park, archetypes, buggies, all of it. We also learned a lot from that first time.
I'll be back.
One thing that stood out immediately, players blazed through our content, especially the story. That makes sense. Story, characters, world building, that's kind of Obsidian's thing. It's the flavor we bring to the survival genre. So this time, we're starting with a much bigger baseline.
There's been an explosion at Brook Hollow Park. Chaos descended on a ceremony commemorating the
An
2-year
explosion.
anniversary of when 4 teenagers were miniaturized against their will.
One of our favorite parts of the first game was watching the community uncover clues and spin up theories. This time around, we're leaning even more into that, and we'll be keeping a close eye on what our players discover and how they interpret it. Because you never know what might inspire us as development moves forward.
We really started to hit our groove at the end of Grounded 1. We found that being open about what we were planning and then following through was key to building trust with the community. As a small team, we had to experiment with update pacing and scope, and what we found resonated the most with all of you were bigger, beefier updates, even if it took us a little longer to land. So, that's the plan. Larger, more complete updates spaced out just enough so we can take your feedback seriously and make every drop count. You can expect in our big updates, new buggies, new biomes, new building pieces, all the good stuff. And we're launching with a public roadmap so everyone knows what to be excited about in the future.
All of us at Obsidian
Good.
Entertainment and IDOS Montreal are super excited about how close we are to letting all of you players get shrunk a second time and explore the all-new park on buggies in Grounded 2. If you're a returning Grounded player, we're really looking forward to you experiencing all the improvements. If this is your first time getting Tiny, then all I can tell you is that a world with an entirely new perspective and an entirely new feel awaits you in Brook Hollow Park. It's time to ride together and survive together.
Word. Your spider. Meow, meow, meow. Grounded 2.
All right, guys.
October 29th. July 29th.
That is the end of the presentation.
That is it.
What?
Wait, not it. Oh,
Oh no, it's a recap. Yes. All right. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe.
And Vito's a bitch.
Yeah, Vito's a bitch.
Yeah, Vito's a bitch. He's out here to defend us.